All right, welcome, with all due respect. Now, since the country flipped its education system from the 844 system to CBC, or curriculum-based competence system, a lot has been said about the education sector. As a whole, critics of the system say CBC is a solution looking for a problem in the education sector. It simply doesn't answer to the failures of the previous system. They point to the overburdening of parents with new costs of books, materials, extra hours of tutoring learners, and the rest of it. Those in support of this system say focus should be put on how to fix what they call, quote, teething problems. They still hold that this education system is the best and will prepare learners for a whole new world. Meanwhile, we live in a reality where current financing of education system has come under sharp pressure. Universities everywhere, I mean everywhere in this country, are either battling industrial action or increasing fees somewhere. So what to do with education today? I have the University of Nairobi's Vice Chancellor, Professor Stephen Kiama. Karibu sana to the program. And we hope you'll bring some clarity to the concerns of learners and everyone else.
Yes, sir. And
also the panel is Dr. Medina Halako, who's worked former lecturer at University of Nairobi, and we hope to get your expertise from the HR perspective and how exactly we should be, sort of kitting our education system. So let's start where we should. Prof, you've been outspoken about the current sort of financial situation in the university.
Yes.
Just to clear it out, how's the status of University of Nairobi financially today, as we speak?
As we speak, we are still not doing very well. We began a series of reforms to try to put it on a trajectory of recovery. But where we found it, it was like this. And we said, let's not continue digging. Let's now start getting out of the hole. We are actually getting out, but we are at the bottom.
This getting out is not pleasant for everyone.
Yes.
For instance, your master's students in sciences.
Yes.
Their fees has been increased. Is it 5 or 6 times?
Yes.
Yeah. They are burdened by it.
Yes.
Is that part of coming out of the hole?
It's part of coming out of the hole because we had 2 approaches. One of them is to cut the expenditures. The other one is to see how to increase the top line, to increase the revenue. We discovered that although we have a huge population of Module 2 students, we collect less amount of money from them than we collect from Module 1 students. I give you the numbers. With a population of like 60,000 students, Module 1 takes like about a third of this. From them, we collect like 5.7 billion Kenya shillings.
From the 60,000?
From the 20, about 20,000, a third of the population.
Right.
Yeah, but the 2/3, which is Module 2, we collect like 4 billion.
Okay.
Because there was an assumption at some point that you start many programs of Module 2. You hire staff to manage them, but the government will pay. So you don't charge them, you charge them little so that you get more.
Okay.
But the government said, no, we are only financing the ones we placed, not the ones you developed program and admitted.
Right.
You see, but at some point we did not accept that. We said, no, Kenyans need this education, it is so important, like you need to get neurosurgeons, you need to get this. But who pays for it? We hoped that the government will come in and pay. The government said, no, as we are paying only for the graduate students,
okay,
the ones we placed through the Kenya University and Colleges Placement Service, not the ones you placed yourself and hired people to teach. Those you placed and hired people to teach, you get their practical materials, you get all the other facilities you need to teach them, including the teachers, but not the government. So, that was a change of policy sometimes in 2017, 2018 by government. When they introduced what they call the differentiated unit cost. Yeah. So, but it is at that time we ought to have also looked at how much are we charging the Module 2 students. Yeah, because it is like another school. We call them parallel. When we are talking parallel, in some cases they are not integrated. They come for classes different from the others. So this lecturer is teaching this course here, and he he has full load and then teaches this course here, another full load on a Saturday and Sunday.
So that's the difference.
So it's a difference, and you have to pay for this time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me bring
Yes.
Doc, with your expertise,
Yeah.
of course, in HR, and of course worked for this university and the university as a whole. Is it a question on how we miscalculated, if you'd like, on the question of what Kenyans wanted, and the assumption the government needed to pay for these services, or where's the problem from where you sit?
Thank you very much, Smart. First of all, I would say, you know, at this point, we cannot really point a finger on a particular person, whether it's the government, whether it's the parents, whether it's the university management. It is a collective sort of responsibility for all of us. So it is important for each and every stakeholder in this field to try and play their part well. Like what Professor has just said, then we got government-sponsored students who the government is expected to sort of fund for them, but then we have parallel students who then at the end of the day, if a lecturer sacrifices their time, for example, over the weekend to go and teach, then the management ought to do something about that. But on the other side, then there is no funding. So it's everyone to take responsibility for their own duties, I would say.
From where I sit, I mean, when we did out the poster day, and we said, he'll be coming and he'll be coming, there's a lot of disappointment in the air, from students and everyone, and you can imagine from their perspective, that this is something that I've trained for, I'm trying to apply for, and I've not done anything wrong. So midway through my training, I have to pay 6-7 times of what I used to pay before. So you can imagine the frustration.
Yeah.
No, we want to correct that. We said no. If there was, you had already received a letter telling you that this is the amount you pay, we will not change, because that's like a contract with you. You will pay what is in your letter of admission. But future student who will come into the future will need to meet the costs. But not if you are with us, no. If you are a student, no.
But some who've enlarged me for a second, Prof. Some who've talked to us today, and they've said they are paying 5-6 times, about 680-something thousand. That's already the case that is in court.
Yes, it's in court, but I'm saying it was not for students. The fees was not increased for those who had already been admitted and had gotten a title student of the University of Nairobi.
So it was increased for who?
For those who joined the future. And the future for that time, it was September last year. Because it was done in July or something. Yes. Yeah. Anybody who was joining from September, there was an adjustment of the fees. To bring in the element of sustainability. You get it? So because we don't want to admit you and we cannot pay the teacher, what sense will it make now? You come, but we cannot pay the teacher, so you will not be taught. Does not make sense.
Talk to me around. I mean, I get it. I mean, and I'm trying to get from the perspective of and the frustration of the learners and everyone else, that this looks, it's moved. The ball has moved, if you like, or the goalpost has moved, right? In this sense, What can you tell them tonight that this education system, the one that, like I said, everyone has their career trajectory. So it's what we've thought about. This is how I've planned myself to pay this for the next 5-10 years. And this has happened. What do we say to these people? What do we say to the young people today who are stuck in this sort of, as we try to correct, totally, completely understand? What do you say to these others?
First of all, the continuing students are paying what they were paying initially when they enrolled. Those ones whose school fees will be added a little are those ones who, as of that time, had not joined. And therefore, before you join, of course, automatically you had prepared yourself psychologically that at the end of the day, this is the amount of money. But then look at it this way, Smart, as well. See, the world is changing as it is. And every single day you wake up, the economy is changing. Everything is going higher and higher and higher. You really don't expect school fees to remain the same, yet life has changed.
Right.
And therefore, as parents, as educators, all of us must realize the fact that every single day things are changing, the economy is changing, and therefore we have to work harder to at least add in something.
Okay, let's walk back a bit, Prof. We'll always come back to this question of financing. It's a popular topic, and there are questions that will come, specific questions.
Yes.
Let's talk about CBC.
Yes.
Right? This is a new lot that's about to come. The future, as we like to call it. The future, as we like to call them.
Yes, yeah.
Where do you see it in this conversion of the CBC first?
You know, I see it in the university terms. It will be a little cheaper for a student.
Explain that.
Because the number of years are reduced.
Okay.
You know, if a program you are coming for 4 years, now it will be 3 years. The way it used to be long time when we were coming in as in the university. I did one for 4 years. The other people did program for 3 years.
Yes.
Okay. So it will be cheaper for both the parents and the student in the long run for that time, given that also the cost of living. So it will come down. That is one thing to know. So that is from the university perspective. Then we have to now again look at the curriculum. We have already been used to teaching for 4 years. We have been used to teaching for 5 years, where you have to reduce now to 4. What you remove?
What are you removing?
It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, exactly. Because the learners in sort of primary and in high school, we've seen the chaos that has brought. Teachers are not prepared. Yes. Institutions are not prepared.
Yes.
And sort of just huddle students into this process, and then we figure as we go.
Yes.
Is that the reality?
It
doesn't sound like this.
They are coming in 2029.
Yes.
So we have like 7 years or so for the universities to prepare for them. But given the experience we had with 844, we may have a little problem the way we do our things sometimes. Mm-hmm. So for me, I want to try to begin to engage the university community to begin to think about this. But we have so many programs in different 10 faculties. We will continue until we begin the process. 844, I remember they just showed up.
What do you mean they just showed up?
They just showed up at the end there was...
I said we're here.
Yeah, the university seems like they were not properly prepared. In fact, when they started teaching, I realized that by the time they are reaching the final year, they realize that they have less hours. All the hours had gone into the first and second year, and that year. Then you have a kind of a crash program. So, but this time, because some of us were there that time, we were not senior. Now we know, we have that experience. So we will try to ensure that we begin to downsize the amount so that you can now spread out the content that you need to do in the 3 years, not in the 4 years you are teaching, or in the 4 years, not in the 5 years you are teaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that will be quite something. Yeah.
That's quite a lot of work.
The thing is, by next year, 2023, the fifth graders, based on the CBC currently, next year we got the fifth graders coming in. And then I think in 2025, then they are joining the next level. And then the university is 2029. But as it is now, if you look at things, of course, add in Corona and pandemic that came in, everything is sort of disrupted. So by the time we realize, in as much as we have all these experiences and experiences that we keep saying we have, imagine 7 years will just elapse like that. As it is now, the universities, I would say currently, we really don't have structured ways of how to then receive this CBC when the time comes. But then, as Prof says, it's 7 years, who knows, it might be a lot of time. But then it might be not a lot of time. So it really depends.
You know, where there is actually quite an issue now is in the secondary school.
Right.
Because you expect next year, beside the class for Saturday 8, which will be going to secondary, the class 6 will be going to junior secondary.
Yes.
So about a population of about 1.2, another one 1.3, about 2.5 million will need to be accommodated in those secondary schools. Then in 2024, another class, the class for the standard, which was standard 7 now, will also be going. And the one which so there will be, that's where
the chaos would be.
Not chaos, where everybody needed to prepare. I hope that everybody is preparing for this. And there has been a report which was written by Professor Fatuma Chege to try to say, let's think about different models, including whether we can have 2 tracks, you know? Yes, that you can talk about building all those classes, but let us also think about, if we don't manage it, let's have some group come this time, the other group come this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to take a short break, but when I come back, I want to speak about the heart and soul of the CBC.
Yes,
and specifically, people who are not convinced by this whole changing of curriculum. And say, look, we didn't have to change this curriculum per se. What do you say to them? We take a short break with all due respect. When we come back, we are
kila zuri lina kafara yake.
Germs can cause various infectious diseases. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 cup full in your bathing water, for your laundry, for surface cleaning, first aid, and to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
When cooling down is easy, this easy. Nice. You even took it with a smile.
What about yours?
You do your best out there. Let us do our best in here with the disinfecting power of Jake. Because Jake cleans and kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs and COVID-19 in your home. Jake, your family's guardian against germs and COVID-19.
I have to go to the bank and talk to Martin.
I'm coming with you, Manucho. No one, it's very dangerous. I don't want any more people getting hurt. I'll go with your grandpa.
And besides, he doesn't want to see anyone else. I should go alone.
Don't worry, Mr. Manuel. I just want to make sure nobody else gets hurt.
Police keeping tabs on me. I don't know what to do. I really don't know. If I think about it now with a cool head, I should report my father or the person who kidnapped me. But I can't do it. I can't do it because I love him too much to... He's my family.
For every 390,000 shillings that you spend as a deposit or installment, you get 12k cash back to spoil your loved one during this love month. Call us on 0790 300 300.
The first comment goes to Ndungu Enaina, who says, first, we go to universities. Strong governance and independence government should cease interference with university governance. Secondly, universities must stop over-dependence on tax funding. Let them tap into alumni funding and research grants from government and industry. I have a direct question for you here, Prof. From one of your students says, when will University of Nairobi going to abide by the court order declaring the fee increase illegal?
That's a question to me?
Yes.
But we are loyal. We obey the court orders. There's really no issue.
Obeying and implementing are two different things.
No.
So you obeyed, have you implemented it?
Yes, because you know the court said we don't use the government. What it did is it said that the DUC, the way the government developed the DUC, they believed that there was no enough consultation. Therefore, as a university, we were told we cannot use that one. We use our methods, the one we use. But what we use ourselves, we use sustainability. Yeah, to manage it. And that's something we have been doing. It is not the first time. Even if you come now, you come to do Swahili at the University of Nairobi, you'll be charged different than if you come to do dentistry.
Okay.
That's what we have done. We have always done, the cost of the program is what we use. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what, and that we will continue with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's dispense with the questions for you. Then I go to Daktari. Ask Prof why you have done away with online classes for Module 2. I'm a law student, second year, and one lecturer has been teaching a combined class of Parklands, Kisumu, and Mombasa. Online classes for non-practical courses is the game changer. Why have you done away with that?
That's quite an interesting thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think we are reminded of the story of the man and his son and the donkey. You know, you're calling, oh, why are you riding the donkey? Why? The donkey is getting tired, you better call it, and then another person tells you like that. That is the issue here.
Okay.
Because the students say that they need some time also to socialize. University life is not only about learning remotely on your place. University is about the interaction and the social networks and the friends you create, besides also learning. So, as a university, we listen to this also. So we try to see how do we create a balance that you can learn the online, and then also we provide you with that forum for social interaction. I think there are those who have gotten so comfortable to just stay wherever they are and study on their own. But the university also felt that there is need to also have students socialize. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, because that's the university life. That's what you feel you are a university student.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know somebody. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You get it. So that's the issue. Yeah.
So other than just going to class, you need time to...
You need time to interact with
Nice.
your colleagues and ask them questions, get to know how they think, how they feel. They are from different cultures, you know. They could be from other parts of the country, or outside the country. You interact with them, and you get a different perspective, besides what you get from the notes and from lecture. Yeah.
Okay.
You get it.
Let's get into the heart and soul of the CBC question, and let me start with you, Daktari. There is a strong notion, and those who started at the beginning of the program, those who say CBC simply doesn't work as a concept, right? That 844, the problem is 844 weren't fixed, which were majorly, financing and making sure that we have enough, teachers, and institutions, and that didn't happen. So, what is it in CBC really that fixes the problems in 844?
Oh, great. First of all, CBC, personally, I take that as a great program. And I'm going to start from where I come from, for example, in Tana River. And we have seen all this one in media news and all that. Many of our people, for example, those ones who come from marginalized areas, really don't have, you see people going to school in a tree, and you have, when it rains, you're in trouble. You really cannot. And we keep on insisting on this theory-based. So it is time, I think CBC came at the right time, because first of all, we needed to tap talent of our children. And the first thing that probably people from marginalized community, those ones who don't have the opportunity to actually be in a nice environment, this could be an opportunity.
Give me an
them.
example, because you've brought in the marginalized community and studying under a tree. How does CBC fix that?
It does fix a great deal, because then we really don't need to be sitting in a class and we are learning. We will go out there. For example, if we have a student whose capability is swimming, in Tana River we got a river. So it's so easy for you to take. It's so easy. It's so easy. It really solves that problem. If you have a student whose talent probably is cooking, it makes it very easy to look for local materials and try and mold this person instead of bombarding them with these theories, etc., etc. So it really solves a very big problem in terms of applying the theoretical knowledge that we do in class to practicality on it at the end of the day.
Education, Prof, is not just for the sake of it, right? There should be a reason as to why we educate a society, educate our people. What are we trying to sort of pass on to the new generation, right? Are we trying to make them, problem solvers? Are we trying to just make them social people? What exactly, from where you sit, right, as a VC of one of sort of premier universities in this country, what exactly does CBC train us to do as a people? How you understand it?
How I understand it, we seem not to have had a very complete dialogue as a people on what is the purpose of that basic education. You get it. But the basic education is supposed to introduce you to certain concepts. Let's say concepts of arithmetics, concepts of comprehension, and also, if possible, to be able to identify your skills or your talents. Yeah. If you are able to deal with that, then that person can now be trained to whatever else you want them to train. If they have very good comprehension, very good memory, and all that, they can go and become, and they are refined, they can go and become engineers, they can go and become doctors. That is the issue. So you need to ensure that you don't invest so much in teaching unnecessary material. Yeah. Because that material, whatever material you are teaching, is just later to test whether the fellow is able to assess. How much of the knowledge do you use now, the one you did in primary school, now in the work you do here?
This is a good question, and I'll throw it back in this sense. Do we train people so that they become, these things? Yeah. Or our education system as a whole is to bring full human beings, right? So if I cannot become an engineer, for instance, is education useless for me? If I cannot become a doctor, for instance, is it useless? If I cannot become a teacher, is it useless for me? So why do we train people, in essence?
It's not useless for you, because now being trained, going to be trained now to be carpenter, right, or to go to be trained to be engineer or doctor, you just first the other education is to train you to understand. First of all, that you are able to understand something. Once you are able to be trained to pay attention to detail, then you can be taught anything now. Yeah. So you could use whichever thing you want to train to someone to develop that skill of paying attention and being patient. You get it. Once you do that, then you can go and train them to be doctors. I remember, like now, if you go to do doctor, like myself, I did veterinary medicine. There's no any of the biology you did, you will not come and help you there. It's completely new. Yeah. And there is no knowledge you are going to bring from whatever you learn anywhere to come and do veterinary medicine. Yeah. Okay. But you have learned, all this time you have been selected, that you have the capacity to pay attention to details. Yeah. Now, what are those details now? It is now understanding those bones and the muscles and the nerves.
Great. Doc, let's continue delving into this. There is a notion and a feeling, and especially when this CBC came through, that the concepts, and like you said, what you bring, to teach talent and whatever it is, it's not helping these, learners to get into the world that we know is going to exist in the next 10, 15 years, right? It's becoming more connected. Perhaps these more skill sets are needed outside these kind of settings that we put. From where you sit, how do you answer to the critics who say, again, the same question, that all these things that we are teaching our children now in terms of CBC is helping us solve a problem that really wasn't there in the first place?
The problem was there, and I'll tell you an example of I usually get in touch with these people, and the students mostly, and the teacher gave an assignment to some students, and the teacher told the students, make sure you go home, you play, look at the shadow, play with it, and write a report. Play with your parent, and at the end of the day, write a report and bring it to school the following morning. And this student went home and they sat down with the parent, and you know what the parent said? They said, in fact, where I come from, playing with a shadow is a taboo. So go and tell your teacher we cannot play with shadows. So in other words, it's just strengthening your point where you say, are these really, do we really need this? And I will tell you, basing from a scholar called Kurt Lewin, he developed a theory. This theory is about change. It has 3 steps. So first of all, Kurt Lewin believes that we need to first unfreeze what we are used to doing. After unfreezing and everything, now the climate, the weather is neutral, then you introduce the change.
Okay.
After that, then you refreeze. So it's a whole process. He says it's a 3-step model. And I think probably that is the place where we didn't get it right. We would have...
In terms of the rollout of the CBC?
Exactly.
All right.
We would have unfrozen it, introduced the change, and then refreeze. But then, since we didn't follow that model properly, that's why we are having all these issues in terms of not being able to buy in the stakeholders into this CBC. However, we have started it, and I believe we are going somewhere.
Yeah. Prof, how does, I don't know, a University of the Future look to you? And from where you sit, you know, if your project 7 years from now, and, and all, you know, these new CBC students, and, you know, now at the university, how does the University of the Future look to you? If you could just paint that picture for us.
Oh, the university will not change. Because, you know...
Meaning you're fighting change?
Yes, yes. You know, the university, you know, the way the university is, even by the word university, is universal. And that's why you find whether it's Cambridge, whether it's Harvard, whether it's the University of Nairobi, if you go there, any of those universities, you get a PhD, it's a PhD. So what universities have done is to maintain a certain standard of what you are expected to do and to know. If you say you have a PhD in economics or business, people do not matter that much where you are, where you went. That's the issue of the university. So even after you do all those things, you come to the universities all operate the same way, wherever they are. And that's why people are starting to get tools even to compare them and to rank them. You have seen ranking of the universities. They don't care whether it is in South Africa or in Egypt or in US. It's just ranked because universities have they move, and you find that universities, once any institution gets to the rank of the university, they usually, you don't hear even dying. They just stay. They have a life of their own because they are kept by the momentum of the other. So even after you go to the CBC, you come there, you will just find it will be the same.
It will still be the University
of Nairobi. It will still be the University of Nairobi. And they will expect you to have the same knowledge like the person who was there a few years back. When you leave as a doctor today, or you leave as a doctor 5 years from now, you'll be the same doctor, expected to do certain procedures. You get it on your own. Yeah, you'll be like I remember when I went to school, we were expected you have to remove an eye, what do you call a new creation? You have to read a hoof. You go today, a student are taught those same things. Yeah, that's the issue with the university. So even after you bring CBC and all that, the professors know what they, and that's why you see even the way they do the teachers for the university. It is the same person who he comes from class from this side. Now comes to start teaching. Right. There's no place you are going to be trained.
The same place.
It's the same place, and they are not taught how to teach. Only if you reach a certain level of knowledge, then you are given to class to go and teach because you maintain that standard of what university is.
Smart, look at it this way.
Yes.
It's
interesting and depressing at the same time.
Look at it this way. With CBC, every step of the way, of course, apart from the first 2 years, the PP1, PP2,
right.
Every other part, the learners are subjected to some sort of examination, which is more practical based, and therefore I'm looking at it from where I'm sitting that it might in the end reduce this problem we've been having of unemployment first of all, and then overburdening of our universities. See, there are some classes, and I've been one of those ones who have taught a class of 400 students. So I'm imagining with this CBC, by the time one is done with the, say, the second 3, because it's 2, 6, 3, 3, 3. So the second 3, already we got some people who are going to TVTs, you know, someone has already realized, okay, up to this point, this is my talent, and therefore they are beginning to like shift and taking their path. And therefore, by the time someone is reaching to the university level, we actually have some people who are out. However, I want to like put some dot into this. And the university lecturers, as it is, and I want to put this one to Professor again, that what are you guys doing to make sure that time, when the time comes, because these are people who have been trained on practicality of things, and therefore by the time they're coming to the last 3 years, what are you doing to make sure that then you're tapping this innovativeness that this student has undergone all through? Because then, as it is now, we keep believing in PowerPoints by death.
Yes, Prof has answered already. They'll just revert back to what we said. There's no change.
For university,
so they bring all this, then they come to you.
For university, when you come, you'll be expected. When you enter, you leave this side, this other side, you leave like another person who left there before you. Before the professor releases you, you have attained a certain standard.
Okay.
And then you know that opens you to become whatever you want. Even if you had developed other skills, you can use now this critical thinking you have been taught. Yeah.
Because remember, they're coming in as different people. It's not, you know, the other one was 844, but these people are coming as different.
So your perspective may be different, but you'll be taken through this, but you are reflecting against what you are.
How do we answer? There's those who are watching tonight, young people who are frustrated by this country, because it's just not education for education's sake, right?
Yes.
That it's supposed to be members of contributing society, concerned citizens, and that sort of thing. But the country is not that. It's not there, right? Our economy is not doing well. We know about the job opportunities. The students you release, year after year after year. I don't know if you do research on how many get into the job market. And become useful to society for themselves and to the building of everyone else. How do you answer those who are sort of frustrated and think this education is not helpful? We live in a country that does not care. We have built a culture of building papers, and we sort of get into the end of this sort of that stick. How do you answer that?
Now, it depends on why you are coming to the university. If you are coming to the university to get the papers, then you get them and they will be very problematic. I think the university is about training you to know certain things, to have certain skills, and then after that, you perhaps get a job, perhaps offer leadership in another place, that's something, but not to just say after you finish, you still want to be held by the hand. If you have left the university still waiting to be held by the hand, then there is a problem. And that's why we try to continue to encourage students. When you are still in the university, try to volunteer. Go places if you can get an opportunity to even help without having to be paid. So that you begin to build the necessary networks. But if you just come out with a paper from the university and you walk with the paper from place to place, it's very difficult.
The same question. How do you answer to those who are frustrated by our education system over a period of time, seeing that it does not?
I'm wondering, Prof says you just go and work and volunteer without being paid. Tell a person that out there and they will never agree with you. And I work. How am I supposed to even get to work? I'm not being paid. So there are those challenges that keep on arising every day. However, what we need to do, I think, as a people, is to look at, like Prof is saying, how we produce our graduates. And this one starts from psychological point of view, so that you are lecturing or teaching this student, at the end of the day, it's not really about going out there and be employed. If it happens, well and good. But then, are you looking at it from the point that if you get out there, are you going to be an employer? So that at the end of the day, then you sort of help the other people get jobs so that they can be employed. So many a times we need to change our minds in terms of, let us create entrepreneurs, for example. Let us create people who are innovative, so that they will go out there. Instead of them seeking for employment, they would start their little something, which then will grow up to become, to help the society.
Allow me to push you back on this question.
Yes.
How does an employed person teach someone you know, to go out and create employment?
It can be done, because then, you see, it's the same thing as asking me, how does a teacher teach someone to go and be a doctor? You understand? It's the same thing. So it is only a matter, for example, at the university, what we do, we try to stimulate the student's mind. So I will stimulate your mind so that at the end of the day, the idea comes from you. It is me who wants to go out there and do this kind of a business. And therefore, the job is to really stimulate the minds of our people.
But let me say, you know, there is something that we need to do as a country. You know, and that is research. We need to invest in research. You can invest in research, or you can invest in infrastructure. They are drivers for economic development. If you put bridges and you connect community, and the community now start selling to each other.
Right.
The issue, you do research, you open to new methods of doing things, you come with the new innovations, and that continue to open space for younger people. But so long as we are not investing in research, we are going to continue to getting challenged. The Science, Technology and Innovation Act already provided that the government will be setting aside 2% of the GDP to plow into research, because we have all these people in the universities who should be doing research to open up to get new things to be done and new products, so that when the young people come, no, it's not happening. That's why I'm saying that's what we need to do. Because when you don't do that, then the young people come and what opportunities are there? Yeah. It's frustrating, like you are saying. Right. But it's not that the country has not thought about this. It is that the political class have decided not to provide resources to that. They provide to the infrastructure, which probably you can see and a photo can be taken, because the research, they don't understand exactly what is that. But we need to put, if you look at all the well-developed countries where they have jobs, it's because they put money in the research. So they produce medicines, and people go and be employed there, and all other kind of products, like all these things people import here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what is missing. Yeah.
Before I leave, final question for you, and as you go, to those who are frustrated by the CBC, what do you tell them?
I tell them CBC is actually the way to go. We need to give it time, because everything needs time for it to mature and grow into something that we can see success in it. It is the way. We need to embrace CBC at the end of the day.
Okay. Well, for those who are frustrated by you and your financial, problems, if you like, what do you tell them in 30 seconds?
I tell them to know that University of Nairobi is a very strategic institution, and we must support it so that it does not collapse and die. We have had other establishments here, like Uchumi, Kenya Bus Service, which collapsed. And University of Nairobi, if we don't intervene, and we just talk about it and say how we don't need to pay, then it dies. We will all be losers. So we must nurture it, we must support it until it recovers and continue to serve us and the future generation.
All right.
Yes.
Dr. Medina Halako, thank you very much for coming tonight. Professor Stephen Kiama, please come again and again. There's so many questions from your students. I will transfer them to you. If you need mediation between you and your students, I'm happy to come to the
very well. I'm about to have a mediator here.
All right. With all due respect, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for all your questions. As it is, we always open this space for conversations, honest conversations to answer.
This is NTV.
Is this where you're throwing money down the drain?
How?
On these cleaning products.
Impossible.
Harpic 10X. While other cleaners flow away, Harpic 10X's viscous formula in only one round of application gives you sparkling, clean toilet.
Harpic, 10 times better cleaning than other cleaning products. And great savings too.
It's super cool to be a mass superhero, to get the spread of the virus to 0. how to wear a mask. Clean your hands before putting on your mask. Make sure your mask is clean. Cover your mouth, nose, and chin with a clean mask. Then adjust the mask on your face, leaving no gaps on the sides. That's it. Now you're good to go. Yay! Wearing a mask helps protect you and others from spreading viruses. To get the spread of the virus to 0.
The First Lady.
The only thing I have to say is you have to be careful of looking in the wrong places, or you'll be wrong again. What? I was not Mariano's lover. You made a mistake there, Mariano.